Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television and radio talk show, Where Truth Matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You know something? You can find us on television, and that is Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the Newscasters.com. You can find us that way as well. And still all the remaining social media sites that we do, you can find us there as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. Continue sending email. It's a thrill for me when I hear from you. Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. I have Clint Day with me, and he is with the Newscasters studio that's growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, people, you're giving people a voice, Clint, and that's, you know, where we felt like we were shut down a few years ago, we have a voice. Thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you, and I'm grateful for Victoria Scott and Murray Edwards and their hard work to help make it happen and their vision to carry it out. So thank you for that encouragement.
Oh, yeah, anytime. You have a long history. Let's talk with a few folks are new to the show, and let's talk a little bit about your background.
Grew up in a business family. My dad started the Days Inn motel chain. I've been involved with politics many years. I was a former state senator here in Georgia. Used to be in the real estate business on a daily basis and developing small retail centers. And of course was chairman of a bank in the past. So God's really blessed me over the years, and now blessed to live on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, married to Sonia. And we have 4 adult children and number 8 grandchild on the way. So we're very excited about what God's doing in our lives.
Let's talk about living your life, okay? And I've been very guilty of this. My previous life, I was in the corporate world, and I practically gave my life to that corporation and was not near as happy as I am now. And so I had to put a stop to it. So Phil and I decided, I left the corporate world and decided to go at it on my own. Really glad I did. I've not turned my head backward at all. I've not regretted that decision. Let's talk with folks, though, that don't want to start their own business, but they want to stay in the corporate world. What can you do to keep yourself true?
Well, you know, yesterday our pastor was preaching about how we have a new year and a new you. And I think a lot of that is up to where you want feel like God is leading you to go. And I think in this new year I think about a new heart, even a new heart. And recently I had a cath where I had 2 stents, believe it or not, Don, just a week ago. And I think a lot of times we take for granted where we are, and we need to really think about where does God want us to go? What does he want us to accomplish? And the need to be present. And so people are in the corporate world, if that's where God leads you, you know, I would encourage you, really try to develop those disciplines in your life. Try to have that quiet time, be in a position to read the Word of God. And then, of course, when you're around your family, one of my biggest regrets when I was in the busy corporate world was just not taking the time to really be present when you're with someone. And when you come home from work, and sometimes you get caught up in what you thought about during the day, and it's hard, we as men especially, to get in the box of family, if you will, and be present right there at the dinner table, or with your children playing a game, or with your wife especially, talking to her, looking her in the eyes and having that deep one-on-one conversation that's so important to both of y'all's relationship. And I think that's what I would try to encourage people to do, is really focus on what your goals are for this year coming up, and try to really stick to what the things that you think are most important to you, especially your relationship with God, your spouse, your children, your family, your friends, and really understand that need to have that balance. Yes, you want to work hard, but what's the balance that God wants you to have?
Absolutely. My first real corporate job was with a cosmetic company. And so my boss, her name was Kathy Bennett. Yeah, very young, 25 years old, probably shouldn't have had that job yet. I mean, I was really green. And so, but I went in there like fighting fire. And my son was about 4 years old at that time. And I mean, I was just had a bad marriage. And I just put every bit of my energy into work. I mean, everything. But my boss noticed it. And so she called me in, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm in trouble because she only calls people in for a meeting one-on-one if there's a problem. And so I was really nervous getting there, 25 years old. And so she said, we need to talk. And I said, what am I doing wrong? And she said, you're working too hard. And I said, you're my boss. You're telling me I'm working too hard. And she said, you're going to face burnout if you're not really careful. You need to put God first, then your family. I'm last. And that was surprising to me that my boss, yes. I mean, she's real hardcore, and very, very, very successful woman. I mean, very successful. And that's what she was telling me. She said, no, you got everything in the wrong order. She said, if you put it in the right order, you'll say that you're not going to be near as exhausted. What do you say about that?
Well, it's just so true. And I think a lot of us think that you have to do all this performance-based job, and you forget about the things that are most important. In the meantime, you're going to be more effective if you get that in balance, if you keep it in the right order, and you can come home and develop, again, those good habits. And, a lot of people, they want to go out and they want to go to the happy hour and they want to have the drink or whatever. And I was caught up in the party lifestyle in my college days specifically, but the bottom line is you don't want to live that way for your entire life. There's maybe a season of that, and when you hopefully get out of that, and then God will direct your steps. And I really do want to encourage people out there in this new year, as you're thinking about your goals, about where you want to go, where God wants to take you, to really think about those things that are going to be most important and bring you the most satisfaction.
Well, in the corporate world now, and we got a taste of that too with one of the other corporate jobs I had, and it was all about diversity training. And I was constantly being taken away from my job, for diversity training. And I just told my boss, I said, look, I love everybody. I don't have to go to these trainings. I said, if you've seen something out of me that makes you think I need to go. And he said, no, I haven't. He said, you handle everybody in a great way. He said, it's just that it's required. You have to go. But I felt like they were trying to there's one training called the PAR training, PAR. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, is that we're really getting into your brain. So, I mean, to me, it felt like they were trying to take goodness out and put complexity in. It's just what it felt like to me. And so I was there, but I wasn't there. I was just thinking about my customers and my family and how I could take care of everybody once I got back. Do you see that happening more and more in the big corporations?
Yes, we have. And of course, there's a big push against that. Of course, again, they found out that a lot of that training can be very discriminatory in its own right, and it needs to go away. The Supreme Court has actually even talked about that. And I think we need to love God, love people. I mean, if we'll do those two fundamental things, our lives will be different. And I totally agree that we need to be aware of our actions toward people, particularly when we sometimes find ourselves discriminating or whatever, for whatever reason. And when I look at certain situations, like, maybe someone with a lot of tattoos or nose rings or whatever, I got to realize they're real people, and they're pink hair, blue hair, whatever, somebody that's different than me on the political spectrum. I got to love them anyway. And I think that's one thing that I see in a lot of our society. We reach a point where we hate each other almost to the point of where you can't even hear what another opinion is. But yet you got to realize they're created in God's image. They're another person, and we can show them love even though we may not agree with them at all.
Well, a lot of young folks, I mean, they didn't grow up in the first corporate world of my life like I did. We didn't have social media, and there was none of that. This was back in the 1980s, the mid 80s. And I mean, we didn't have people nitpicking. I mean, and pretty much, it was this way. It was like, with people you worked with, whatever, we had different sides, different football sides, different political sides, different all kinds of sides, but nobody got that aggravated about it. I mean, nobody would get mad at you, not speak to you and things like that. But it seems like that's what it's brought about. And I like social media. I mean, there's so many things that are good about it, but then there are so many things that are bad about it. How do you divide that?
Right. Well, I think a perfect example of this is just what's happened recently with the ICE agent in Minneapolis, where the lady was harassing the agent, and the agent told her to get out of the car, and she refused. And then she put her car in gear and started to act like she was going to run over the person. So it cost her life. And I just go back to the fundamentals when we teach our children not to cross the street, or if you do, look both ways. Or if an officer tells you to do something, you listen to them and you obey them. This lady fundamentally didn't do that. And I had friends of mine that couldn't believe, on especially Facebook, ladies that are more liberal, that were just like very aggravated with me. And I'm like, well, look, let's get all the facts. Let's just don't do what they say in the first media reports of the one-sided view. And sure enough, the truth came out. The lady was very much harassing him. She did not obey orders, and as a result, literally cost her life and cost her children's mother, the 3 children that she has. So we really do need to pay attention to what the law says. And when I get pulled over, if I'm speeding or whatever in an area, when I've had it in the past, it's been a while, fortunately, but when it happens, I don't sit there and argue with a police officer. I say yes sir, no sir, and yes ma'am, no ma'am if it's a female, and I respect them. And I think that's one thing we forget sometimes is these people that are doing their job, trying to get people off the streets that are very bad people. They don't deserve to be harassed when they're trying to help you as a citizen. And I think we've got that out of balance. We also know there's a lot of money being given to those people to create division, and they're being paid an hourly rate, a lot of them, in order to get out there and protest as they are by people like George Soros and others that fundamentally just don't want to see democracy for whatever reason, even though they've benefited greatly from it. And I don't understand all that, but the reality is we've got to do what the law says. And our law has said that, we've allowed these certain things to happen, that the borders need to be protected. We need to be protected as individuals. And so I'm wanting to see more in that, in our government doing the next right thing.
I totally agree. My granddad was a police officer. Now, this was back in the 1950s in Oxford, Alabama, before Oxford was a big town like it is now. But he did tell me, he said, when I started driving, I was getting my driver's permit, and he said, I'm going to tell you right now. He was a retired police officer at that time. And he said, when the police, and they will, because I've got a feeling you're going to have a lead foot. He said, when they pull you over, you're more likely to get a warning if you don't sit and argue with them about it. And he said, the best thing to do is fess up and just say, yes, sir, I was speeding, or yes, ma'am, I was speeding. He said, that's the best thing you could possibly do. And that's worked. It really has. If I don't sit there and start arguing with them and that kind of thing, and that's the problem, is everybody feels like they're a prince or a princess, and that the world rotates around their world. And I found out a long time ago, the world does not rotate around the axis of me. I mean, that's not. But you have to respect everything everybody does. And let me tell you a story. This is how I got a big account one time. Okay, so I had friended a lady who was the receptionist. And a lot of people, for some crazy reason, look down on the receptionist. The receptionist of a business actually is the axle does turn on her or him. Because they know everything that's going on in the business. Well, it just happened to be Valentine's Day. And so I just gave her just a little simple Valentine's Day card, my first meeting. And I said, hey, happy Valentine's Day. And just gave it to her. And she said, who are you here to see? And I told her it was the CEO. And it was about cell phones, about the account. And so she said, have a seat and he'll be with you in just a few minutes. So after that, we became friends. She and I did. And she would even quiz around and say, we're going to have to just give you your own parking seat that you're in and out of here so much. But anyway, after that, we became friends. And she said, you know how you got through? I said, what? She said, by treating me like I was a human being.
Absolutely.
All we've got to do is treat people like they're human beings, even with the pink and the purple hair, and even with all those things. Not my style, but I'm just saying that as long as people are treated like humans. But now, on the other hand, they need to treat us like humans too. And we get blamed a lot as conservatives for creating warfare, and we're not doing anything like that. We're trying to keep the peace. I'm seeing that we need to go into a commercial break. Can you believe that already?
Amazing.
Right, we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody, hang in there with me, okay? We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Okay, we are back. I have Clint Day with me, and this is Donna with Donna's Edge Television and Radio and Podcast Talk Show. Again, thank you so much for being with us. Clint, I can't get the Newscasters is really doing well. The attraction there, you guys are getting podcasters from all over the world now.
We really are, and I'm amazed at different type of venues of information, cooking, news, sports, music. It's just really growing like amazingly, and I'm so grateful. Everybody's hard work and your encouragement with us, Donna, and we all need encouragement. And you mentioned earlier the gatekeeper. I think about the person that's the important person, if you will, that when you come into a new business or come into a store or even a restaurant with a server. I think about a lady named Joe Dollar who's worked for our family for over 50 years. She worked for my dad before he promoted to heaven, and then worked for my mom for many years, still working at 93 years old, and just amazing. And if you want to talk to my mom, you have to get through her. And I think your point is so well made. Or how are we treating people? What kind of heart are we showing them? And that's so important that we to get through that door, if you will, to that CEO or that person of influence that you want to meet with, how you're treating that person. And I just want to encourage people. I think about this word of God in Ezekiel 36, 26, and 27. And I will give you a new heart and a new spirit I'll put within you, and I'll remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes and be careful to obey my rules. And I think about, again, the heart. What is our heart doing? How are we relating to people? What are we doing to try to communicate a message? And what are we trying to do with, if we, again, like you talked about earlier, how God's blessing you to build your business by serving people in certain areas of your business. And I think that's one of the things that we need to learn again in this country is the ideal situation is to have that servant leadership attitude. And how can we be modeled like Jesus did to serve people and to encourage them in whatever they're trying to accomplish? If someone's trying to get a new opportunity with maybe a real estate license or whatever they're trying to do, how can you encourage them with that? And Donna, you're a very effective encourager that way. You encourage me in our business and the opportunities that we have. And we really do appreciate people like you in our lives to do that. And I want to encourage your audience, which I know you do every day. That's why they listen to you. They want to be encouraged with whatever their goals are. And you can accomplish them with God's help and the right people on your team.
Absolutely. And you got to have the right people in your team. Absolutely. I was thinking back to the company I was just mentioning to you earlier. They were called Allied Signal at that time. And Allied Signal was a great company. And Becky was the front end receptionist. And I'm a people watcher. And I can pick up good tips on people, or I can pick up bad tips on people. So I was waiting on a customer in Allied Signal one day. And so this guy comes in. And he was talking to Becky as if she were just nothing. I mean, she was just, well, guess what? He did not have an appointment, and she did not make arrangements for him to have an appointment. Mm. So then he just walks out all disgusted and mad because she didn't get the appointment with him. Then she looked at me and she said, treat me like that and you won't get in.
Absolutely.
And so people don't understand that the janitor, you never know, the janitor could actually be the father of someone who is the CEO of the company. It's just a janitor for something to do. You never know who you're running into. That's why everybody needs to be treated with respect.
Yes, I totally agree. Years ago, I was traveling with my son with a ministry of all things too. We were in the Dubai area, and I bought this sign that said attitude is everything. And I put that over my children's bedroom hallway for the hallway to their bedrooms. And, I was always pointing to that sign. We got to get our attitude right. It's a new day, and we got to put behind us what's happened maybe the day before, maybe a setback, a loss of a sporting event or whatever, a bad grade, whatever. But it's a new day. We got to have a new attitude, and we got to keep looking up. And again, I just think about what God brought me through. I mean, just a Thursday a week ago, just recently that where, I was having this heart issue and thank goodness. I'll admit to you, when I was going into that procedure, I was, you're apprehensive, you're concerned, but I have complete trust in God. I had complete peace. And I was able to, one of my problems is it was anesthesia can really get me bad because of muscular dystrophy I have. And it was really concerning, but they didn't put me under too much. I was able to watch a lot of what was going on, believe it or not, and answer their questions. And the miracle of technology, the miracle of modern medicine. Of course, ultimately, I know that God is the ultimate healer, but he allows man to do certain things, certain medications that can really make a big difference. And And I'm just so grateful for that new heart opportunity. And I think we need to have in this year, what are some of, again, our goals? What are some people we want to reconnect in relationships? Some old friends that we think about it. Who are you thinking about right now? Who's an old friend that you hadn't talked to? But it's time to pick up the phone and give them a call and see how they're doing, see what's going on. And again, those relationships, those goals that God has for you.
And there are some friends you have. Vicky. She was Vicky Luker in school. We went to elementary school together and then to middle school, and then we went to high school together. And so Vicky's just one of those friends that she and I don't connect that much. But when we do, I mean, it's as if we've never lost a second with each other,
Absolutely.
And it's important to keep those friendships.
It really, truly is. And I have a friend, John Unger, who moved recently from California to St. Augustine, Florida. And I just am it's so awesome that he's closer to me and I can see him a little bit more. But again, you got to take the initiative to do that, to pick up the phone and get together, and don't let it just be something you talk about. And especially somebody that you really, if there's somebody on your heart that you've thought about, I encourage you to reach out to them here real soon, the next week or so. And I know that we all have those goals. I mean, what do you want to put that time frame on? And I was recently interviewing someone that does an incredible KOA camp up in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And during the interview, I was saying to them, I really want to make sure I make my reservation. And I made a note to myself, within 24 hours, I'm going to make a reservation. And sure enough, I was able to get that done. So next fall, when they're busy as all heck, I've already got my reservation worked out. So if there's something you really want to do, if there's a place you want to go, a country you want to visit, a city you want to visit, a sightseeing place in your own state. There's so many things in our own states that sometimes we take for granted, and you hear about them or somebody talks about them, but we never take the advantage of going to see them when they're nearby. I want to encourage you, do that. Go take advantage of it.
Well, I'll have to tell you, this is something Phil and I have talked about, and that's the Northern Lights. I know it's a far piece from South Carolina. Have you ever seen the Northern Lights?
I have not live, but you're right. That's a bucket list.
Uh-huh. We've been talking about it. I don't know, it's just been on me heavy here lately, and it's beautiful when you see it on television or on the internet or whatever. It's just breathtaking. But this past Christmas, Phil and I go through this binge of watching Hallmark Christmas movies. And so one of them was about a guy, and I had just been thinking about the Northern Lights. And so he was like a tour guide, and so it was just, it's one of those mushy, kissy movies. And Phil was just sitting there and he said, the only thing I like about this movie is the Northern Lights. And I said, well, we've been talking about it. I think we need to set a goal and do it. But now there are things you have to do. You got to make sure it's the right time of the year. I mean, there's not every single night you see the Northern Lights. And so, there are things that you have to prepare for as well. We're going to have to call it a day. I can't believe the show flew by. It always does, and I have Clint Day with me on the show. But Clint, thank you so much for being with me. And thank you guys so much for watching. Continue sending email. They make my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. Thank you for watching.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. including my classic standard My Pillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic My Pillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.